the 67th episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, Greg brings us up to date on the Spiel nominees for this year, along with a couple of other tidbits of news. We delve into episodes 36 and 37 of our collection videos, discussing the ins, the outs, the surprises, and even a couple disappointments of each. And once again, with time being what it is, always in short supply, instead of focusing on a deep dive of just one game, we're going to jump feet first into some of the games we played on our recent 24-hour marathon. So, where do you want to start?
We're going to start off with the Spiel Award. This is the children's game of the year. And wow, we have... I'm going to butcher this. I know I am.
Okay, out of everything written there, I recognize one thing, and that's Blue Orange Games. That is literally the only thing.
And that's on the title that you can
actually read. Taco
so
Kid
the
Pizza,
first two of them
okay.
are in German. I want to say Globklein Edelstein.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which means big little gems.
Okay.
It's a Wolfgang Wash game.
Sure.
Then we have Die, which is
yes, okay. I remember that from German class in high school.
Which is the Magic Keys.
Okay, I can see that.
This is from Game Factory
Sure.
in Germany. I'm not sure of the designers. And then Taco Kitten Pizza from Dave Campbell and Thierry Denoil from I'm sorry, I butchered that name though.
I bet you got
from
Dave
Blue
Campbell
Orange.
right.
I got Dave Campbell correct, but I wonder if Taco Kitten Pizza is like that Taco Goat Cheese game is like another part of it like that. Okay, so those are the kids' games. These were also recommended for Fluffy Valley, Lecker Lava, and Die Nadelhofen, which is The Needle in the Haystack.
This sounds like a good time to say, I flunked German in high school. Thank God it was not a required course when we were back in high school.
I never took German, but
Well, we were recommended to take it. I know we're going off on a tangent, but what the heck, right? I know now foreign language is required in high school, but it wasn't back when we were in high school. Thank goodness, because I failed German, and I did not retake it.
I remember as a kid, my dad used to every once in a while say phrases in German, and when asked my mom what that was, she goes, "You do not need to know." So I'm guessing he was cussing at us in Germany because we pissed him off. Anyway, so we're going to move on to Kinderspiel, which is basically the hobby game of the year for the hobbyists or enthusiasts. It is Daybreak. It's a Matt Leacock game.
Okay. And
Matteo Menipis from, it's Schmidt Spiel is who put it out.
Okay.
The Guild of Merchants Explorers. This one's been out for a while, too.
I thought so, too.
This is Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert and AEG, but from Skellig Games in Germany, which means it probably just now hit Germany. It came out over here, because this has been out for a couple years here, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, the newness is already worn off, and it's
well, I feel like it came out last year.
I think it came out before then.
You think so? Because
yes.
I think this is these awards are
for Germany.
No, I know that, but they're for the Guild of Merchant Explorers. I'm not. There we go. I had.
Did you find it?
2022. So yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yep. It came out here in 2022.
Right.
Came out in the United States.
Okay. Yeah, I've never quite understood the timeline of the awards and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And then we have Ticket to Ride Legacy Legends of the West. We are still in the middle of playing this.
We have four months to go, or four games left to go. And
and this one. I love the designers on these. I mean, Alan R. Moon, who does Ticket to Ride.
Yes.
Rob Davio, who's the master of the legacies.
Yes.
And Matt Leacock.
Yeah.
Which is...
Matt Leacock did...
Pandemic.
Pandemics. And
yes. Why didn't I know Pandemic is what got us into this?
Yeah, he did the Pandemics. He also did the Forbiddens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Days of Wonder, of course, has produced that. But they also had some games I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Beer Pioneer, I'm guessing. Botanicus. Forest
Interesting.
Shuffle I've heard, and
I've
Ritual.
heard of Forest Shuffle, yeah. Interesting. I've wanted to check out Forest Shuffle, never have yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to
There's
look
already
that
an
one up.
expansion out for that, apparently.
Oh, wow.
I seen that
Okay.
on a Facebook post the other day.
Okay. Well, I mean, not to spoil anything, and when we finish Ticket to Ride Legacy, when we get to the Ticket to Rides in our playing through our collection, we'll definitely talk about it a little more. But we're enjoying the heck out of it.
So the Spiel
So,
de Jahres
all right.
Game of the Year, we have played 2 of them.
Yes.
So the first one is Captain Flip. This
Nah, I never heard
is
of
a
this
Polymori game from Playpunk and Remo Conzadoria. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that one.
Conzadori.
In the
Conzadori.
footsteps
Oh.
of Darwin. We kind of fell
I
into this
love
one
this one
at
by
Gen Con last year
accident.
because I was there for a different game. I was like, well,
Yes.
that one looks pretty cool. Let's
Yeah, we
try
were there
it.
for Miller Zoo and ended up trying this one too, and really enjoyed it.
And also Acropolis, and we bought all 3 of them.
We did. Yep.
So this is from the Sorry We're Not French board game company. And then
Yeah.
Sky Team, we played that at...
We played it once at the Dice Tower Retreat
Yes.
and had a little bit of a rough time with the non-communication part. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to try it again.
maybe at the
Yeah.
retreat again, we'll try it out,
Yeah.
get it out again. But they also had Harmonies, which I heard is pretty cool.
Okay.
Pashnich, I've not heard of. Phantomique, I've heard of. This one, I gotta watch how I say it. Shats If You Can. Right?
Sure.
Okay, and then Trekking Through History
Yay!
and Trio. Trekking Through History is another one that's been out for a while. It's been out for a year or 2
It's
now,
been at least
too.
out for at least a year. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I love that game.
So those are your Spiel des Jahres nominees.
Nominees.
Of course, they announced them, I believe, just like right before Essen Spiel happens. So it'll probably be October,
Yeah.
November sometime when they actually haven't come out. So what would your winners be?
Oh, you're asking me?
I'm asking everybody.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wait.
So I don't know about the kids' games.
Yeah, I don't
In
know.
the hobby game, we haven't played.
We've only
I'd like
played
to
the
play
one.
the Guild of Merchants Explorer.
Yeah.
I am enjoying Ticket to Ride Legacy,
Very much
Legends
so.
of the West a lot. So that would be awesome to see a Legacy game win.
Yes.
I don't know if it's ever happened before.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure if I don't think so. And then Game of the Year. In the Footsteps of Darwin is so light too.
That's what really surprises me is Footsteps of Darwin and even Sky Team is a very light game. Sky Team's a 2-player cooperative game.
I would really like to see Trekking Through History could have won it, but they are not in the top 3. So
Yeah.
if I had to pick out that, I would like to see In the Footsteps of Darwin because I don't think it gets a lot of love.
I don't think it does either. And I think it got overshadowed by the other Darwin game that came out right before it that's much heavier. And for the, life
journey
of me,
in the
Journeys at Darwin's Journeys.
Darwin's Journey. Yeah,
Um,
that was the big Kickstarter at that time.
yes. And I think it definitely gets overshadowed by that game. So I think I would love to see this one. When it's so light and so easy.
It's so light. Yeah, it's a grid.
It's a grid of 3x3.
It's like grid
you're-
drafting, I think, is what they call it.
Is that
I'm
what
not
it's called?
sure.
Grid
And
dra-
then you're taking that tile that you're picking up off kind of a. It's almost kind of a quadropolis pick. It's like wherever the ship's at, you can pick something in that
Yeah.
row,
Yep. And you can
and then you're putting it out onto your board in the areas of the country
Yeah.
or the world where that actually is, and you're trying to make sets out that way. It's really cool.
really we did a playthrough of this one on our last 24. The 24 we did
Was that
back
the 24 or the 12?
I can find out.
Everything grows together.
It's kind of all blending together. But you know what? I have a spreadsheet for that. I can tell you.
I've got an app for that.
Give me a second for it to load. All right, list of full events. It was on the 12-hour back in August of 2023. It was in the second half of the 12-hour.
So go check that out.
So, yeah.
Find it someplace.
Yep.
Okay, next on the list, I've got it titled Another One Bites the Dust. This is kind of a bummer.
I feel like it's almost indicative of the times we're in,
Uh-huh.
which is sad.
This is from Game Brewer's website. They are actually saying goodbye. After how many years? 7 years. They are actually closing the door, but they have some Kickstarters out, and they said, yes, they will be finished. They will deliver everything they have still left. They're just letting everyone know that After this, they won't be anymore because they still have out Bone Wars, Algae Inc., and Stroganoff Big Box. Those will be their final releases, but these games are currently in production and will soon be available in very limited quantities. Rest assured, our crowdfunding backers will receive their pledged games.
Now, it looks like on here they're also doing a big sale of some of their backstock.
Yes.
So it looks like they have a backstock of 9,000 games, according to this article.
Yes.
And they're asking for help to ensure they can settle all of their obligations, including author license fees, etc. But they're offering competitive discounts, but you have to sign into their website with an account in order to view
to get it. So you needed to already have an account.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of never mind.
To get the discount,
Except
and
for
it could
new
be up to like
releases.
65% off.
Yeah. Wow. So if you have an account, check it out.
Yep. And where did I see that at? One of the games that Game Brewer has, which I thought was gone forever, and now for the life of me is Chimera Station. They were the other publisher of Chimera Station.
What?
Yes. And now they're going away. So I'm like, ugh. I don't like that.
Well, and it's not like, it's been out at all, but it would have been nice.
I want to go through what games they have left.
Well, yeah.
And see.
Can I find it?
Can I find that we've been looking for this game for so long? We really like this game. This had become our con game. That we only played it at Dice Tower West and the Retreat.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing that game anywhere. But yeah, I looked up the game the other day, or I was looking at another posting of this.
Okay.
And it showed that as one of their games. Like, wait a minute. They didn't do that game, did they? That was Tasty Minstrels. I thought the game was gone forever. And then I seen it was on. They were one of the other people that put it out. And I'm like going, ugh! Why? Why didn't I know this?
Yeah.
I could have gone to Game Brewer all this time and possibly found the game.
Oh, well. We'll find it eventually.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So Game Brewer, if you don't know yet, they are actually closing the company after all their Kickstarters have delivered. And right now they are basically selling off their stock.
Yep.
So let's go on to the other news. So I have this listed as the term Meeple is copyrighted. Will we have to change our name?
I saw that.
So I seen this. I think I actually seen this on Twitter because I follow Board Game Wire on Twitter. And I found the thing on there. And it's basically the company Hans and Gluck who put out Carcassonne,
which is where the term Meeple came from.
Well, no, the figure, the Meeple figure that we know as the Meeple figure came from Carcassonne.
Yes.
Another person actually came up with the name. I'm trying to find her name here. But why I'm looking, the reason why it came up is because the game Meeple Inc. had raised over $230,000 on GameFound, and it brought attention to it. There are
That's not that much money in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, if you read down through here, there are a lot of other games out there that have
the word Meeple in them.
Have it, yes. And apparently, Carcassonne came out in 2000. I think I wish I marked this as to where her name was and when she actually did it, though. Trademark twists. Yeah, an American gamer, Allison Hansel, who used it as a portmanteau. I know I've pronounced that word wrong, but that is the word that it's the joining of two words to make one word, which is the one I was telling you that iPod and broadcast was put together to make podcast.
Yeah.
But she brought it together as Meeple. And I want to say it was like 2006 or somewhere in there when she put it out. And Hans and Gluck did not file for the trademark until 2019. Yes.
That's
So
a pretty
by-
cheap
yeah,
move,
and
considering how widely known.
Simon was one of them that actually wanted them to stop and try and get in the way of doing this because they said by that time it became a
It's a general
generic
term used in this
in
industry.
the gaming system.
Yes. Oh, that's pretty low.
So they were so Germany, Hans and Gluck had I guess they trademarked the look of the Meeple and then they trademarked the name because
That's
apparently they didn't want people making money off of it. But they didn't even come up with the name, which is what I'm surprised that they allowed them to get it because it's right now it's trademarked in the EU
in the
and
European
in
Union,
Germany
yeah,
and in Germany,
which is
Not
part
in-
of the European Union, I thought. But
it shows it separately.
oh, interesting. I thought
Yeah.
that was all part of the European
Yep.
Union.
So
Okay.
Simon objection was partially accepted by the EU and intellectual property offices,
Yeah.
which went on to approve Hans and Gluck's application. For the Meeple trademark across a vast sweep of products, including software, jewelry, books, tableware, and sporting goods, but not crucially for toys and games. So they went to Germany and trademarked it in Germany, which included toys and games.
Okay. I can't be the only one. If you're just now hearing this, please tell me. I probably will not support Hans and Gluck with this for anything anymore. This is about as low of a move as you can get, in my opinion. This has been out there for at the time they filed for this, and they evidently did it 5 years ago. So quietly, this is the first we're hearing of it. That's pretty shady, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion, but how do you trademark something that has become a global term?
And you didn't
in
even
the
come
industry?
up with it.
Agreed. And you didn't even come up with it, and it is widely used in games and all sorts of stuff across the globe in this industry. And now you're going to trademark it? I read something, and again, I didn't read the whole article because I was at work and I was busy, but I saw a headline that said something about the fact that they think the only reason they're objecting to it is because the game name is Meeple Inc. That Inc. is what got them. That's, they think, what caught their attention. $230,000 is not that much when in the grand scheme of board game fundraisers or board game Kickstarters. It really isn't. This is pretty low to me.
So
and now having read through this article and seen they didn't even file for it till 2019 and they're waiting 5 years to even bring it up.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah. Now, the big twist on it is that it's not in the U.S. They don't
Yeah.
have it in the U.S. And Corey Thompson now is filing for it. And if you don't know who Corey Thompson is, he is the co-owner of YouTube channel Above Board TV and is co-host of the industry-focused Board Game Insider podcast. He's also, and Gen Con event manager Marion McBride is also going with him
good.
to file for the trademark. And
Here in the U.S., okay.
And one of the reasons Corey's doing it says down there, is that he actually has an Etsy page that they have added Meeple shirts with the name Meeple on them and everything.
Oh, okay.
So that, if he doesn't get it, that's going to hurt his business.
Yep.
If Hans and Gluck gets it over here. So he is really going after it, trying to get it here. And he says, I will have the copyright, but I'm not going to really enforce it here in the United States unless it's like a predatory thing that somebody's using it in the wrong way.
Right. Okay.
He said that's the only way he would
As long
enforce
as
it
it-
against
I mean-
them. But yeah, he's all about it's like, why now?
Why now?
Why are they doing this now?
It's been 24 years. Give me a break. Like I said, hi.
Now, I do know
I'm sorry. A dog in my face.
the
Get down.
co-founder
Get down.
Bernd Brunhofer of Hans and Gluck has come back and said that he disagrees with the way Hans and Gluck went after it so aggressively at first.
Right.
They should not have went so aggressively at it. They should have just brought it up and worked through some things. But I think that's just them backpedaling now because they know it may hurt them.
Oh, it's going to hurt
And there is
big
a
time.
lot of games. We have quite a few Hans and
do.
Gluck games.
And I can
Carcassonne
guarantee
is one of the
you-
major ones.
Yeah. I can
And we have
guarantee you
a-
I will never buy another game of theirs if this settles wrong.
Because that's like, what was it? not quite off subject, but that kind of a comparison though. Kiss, the rock group Kiss, tried to copyright the end of the road tour, or end of the road, or one of the phrases for one of their end of the road concerts and everything. They tried to copyright that, but kind of got shot down for it though.
Well,
they were trying to copyright
apparently
other things
the
too.
U.S. copyright offices are a little smarter than the European ones. Again, my opinion.
Yes,
but whatever.
Definitely. The opinions of Katie is not the opinions of the Meeple Society.
Whatever.
Anyway, but yeah, so I thought that was kind of weird. I know I do like that, but Simon was the only one that objected, or at least they're the only ones that was strong enough to object.
Right.
But it was they listened to it and was like, yes, I agree with you, but we're still going to give it to them. Why? I
don't.
So it said, who's at risk? More than 40 games with the word Meeple in the title have been published since 2019 and between 2019 and 2024, according to Board Game Geek's database, including Final Frontier games A Fistful of Meeples in 2019 and Blue Orange Games Meeple Land in 2020.
Well, something tells me we won't be seeing a lot of Meeple-named games anymore.
Board Gamer Insider, the industry podcast hosted by Corey Thompson, former Stronghold president Stephen Bonacore, and Portal Games president Ignacy. How do you pronounce it?
Ignacy Chevchek.
It's not what it looks like, though.
Yeah, it's Ignacy Chevchek.
Asked Brunhofer how the Meeple Inc. situation differed from any other games and kindly shared the answer with Board Game Wire. He said, it does differ in the direct attempt to commercialize mainly the name and shape referring to the game's market. Meeple Inc. raised a substantial amount of money that exceeds a lot of
usually
launched games, so it's not a hobby project by any means. What?
Basically, that they're making money off the name.
Oh, I get it. I'm just like going.
They want their cut.
Yes.
So, which is, again, low in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be curious to see how this one shakes out. We'll have to watch this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on. We have games we backed. Well, we haven't quite backed it yet.
We haven't backed it yet, but
this
we're
is
probably going to.
If you don't know, this is the Merchants of the Dark Road expansion. It's called Secret Villages, and it's in there with Santa's Workshop plus a related story puzzles. So we like Merchants of the Dark Road. Katie just bought a bunch of upgrades for it the Geek Way to the West.
I bought a bunch last year at Gen Con, and I regretted not picking up the metal coins.
Oh, that's right. You picked up the coins.
So this time I picked up the metal coins.
And Santa's Workshop was sitting there, too, and it looked interesting.
I didn't even look at it.
Yeah, I looked at it. It looked very interesting. So when this came up, we watched a video on Santa. We already figured, okay, we'll probably end up getting this, but we want to see what it does for the Secrets and Villages. So we watched a video on Secrets and Villages.
Right.
We really both like this. Sounds really cool.
Yes.
And then we watched Santa's Workshop, and this was actually kind of cool. We watched the one from Board Game Geek, Game Night on Board Game Geek. We watched their video of it, and they did a pretty good job of presenting this.
Yeah. And
I was like, man, that sounds actually like a lot of fun. And I've heard a lot of good things about this game.
I have too, and I'm tempted. Now, I'm looking through the backing kit right now, though, and it looks like
you've got to.
If you just want the expansion and Santa's Workshop, you got to actually pledge twice. And I imagine you can do one as an add-on.
I think what it is you can. It's in the pickups, I believe.
Okay.
The add-ons.
Yeah, it's gonna be an add-on.
It's in the add-ons. You can get the Santa's Workshop.
Okay. We'll have to do it that way because we obviously don't need everything else.
And they're both
$60.
The pledge for the deluxe game, deluxe expansion. Oh wait a minute, that can't be right, is it? Yeah. The deluxe is $60 for an expansion. Wow.
Because it's the deluxe. It's got all the stuff with it.
Yeah, it has all the cool stuff that would now match what we already have.
Well, with all the stuff we've already bought.
And it does come with a lot of stuff.
It does.
It's really cool. I mean, it's new. The secret villages are the villages out when you go out to deliver stuff.
Yes.
Now it gives you someplace else to go, and it's like a dice roll or something like that. What happens when you go out there, and it makes you want to go out there more.
Yes.
And to really use that, I'm going to ride along with these people so I can go out to that secret village and not have to pay for everything. So
I'm curious. I need to check a little bit more into the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But I can almost guarantee with a 95% certainty we're probably going to back this guy.
If she doesn't already click backed right now.
I have not yet. I'm refraining. Well, and I thought about the puzzles for your dad, but $50 for 2 puzzles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it. But we'll see. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, they're gorgeous puzzles, but I just don't do puzzles anymore.
We don't. And
I still have a handful. I still have a shelf full from the pandemic that I haven't gotten to, and someday I will.
And see, that's all Dad does anymore. I mean, he's
Yeah, I
retired.
know.
He's 88 years old.
That's why I figured when I retire, maybe I'll get to them.
That's mostly that's mostly his day. He sits up. His mom's gone, so
it's good for him. Keeps his brain going.
yeah. And him and Mom used to always do puzzles together.
Yep,
So now he just sits down, starts doing puzzles, and everybody gets him puzzles for his birthday and Christmas and everything. And if you find an unopened puzzle at Goodwill, you pick it up, bring it home, and we give it to him.
Yep.
So he has a shelf, not quite as big as our game shelf, though, but he does have a shelf in his bedroom that is just loaded up with with puzzles.
Yep.
So he is what they call, I guess, a puzzle-holic.
Sure.
So, but yes, this is Merchants of the Dark Road Secret Villages, along with Santa's Workshop Deluxe and Elf Creek Story Puzzles, which looks like it's Santa's Workshop and Merchants of the Dark Road themed.
There's a second printing update pack. For those who already own Merchants of the Dark Road Standard Edition, which is what we own, and want to update their copy, includes new and improved rulebook, updated cards, building tiles, and a ruins die.
Where did you see that?
I am on the campaign about a quarter of the way down the page. Second printing deluxe update pack. Interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna have to read through this to see exactly what I want.
We've taken our standard pack and made it deluxe.
But we don't have an updated.
No, we don't have the updated.
We don't have an updated rule book, so. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, more to come, guys. More to come, because I'm not gonna read through it right now. But I'm definitely curious by some of the things I'm seeing on this, and this is the first chance I've really had to filter through all the stuff that's available.
So in episode 68, you will learn, did Katie back it? I think everybody already knows it. It's just, what did she back?
How far did I go? How much did I spend? Okay, let's move on before I spend it right now.
Let's move on to the ins and outs of Board Game Collection, where we tell you the games that are still in our collection, that left our collection, the surprises, and the disappointments.
All right, so for this episode, we are talking about episodes 36 and 37 of Playing Through Our Collection. We are, it looks like we're in the eyes. Yeah, we started the eyes. But before we did that, we had to do a little backtracking because of Gen Con. And we had, it looks like, six things to backtrack on, which now we would just make that a whole separate episode. But we didn't back then, so, whatever. All right, so
we did have a few of them.
We had a few on this one. Okay, so on episode 36, and I can tell this was right after Gen Con because that's where we got all these. All right, so we played Three Ring Circus, a la carte, After Us, Acropolis, Challengers. Some of these we're going to come back to, so I'm not going into a lot of detail. Expand City. Now, Expand City, the first time we played that was actually with
this really weird guy named
Jeff. At the Dice Tower Retreat. It was the very first game we ever played with him. Anyway, moving on. Now we're in the eyes. We played Ice. We've done some information on Ice already, so we'll come back to that one too. A trivia game called I Know. A kids' memory game called Igor the Brainwashing Game. Another kids' game called Imagine That. The aforementioned In the Footsteps of Darwin. Ink and Gold, and Inca. All right, so the Inca, and this is one we're not going to come back to, so I'm going to mention it here. Inca is actually one
of our first games we ever bought.
We bought this, and I distinctly remember going to the game store after picking up pizza It was in the opposite direction even. But we went and picked up pizza down in Wanamaker and then decided, let's go get a new game too. And we stopped in at Saltier's, which was literally the opposite direction from our house.
Yeah.
And picked up Inca, which is just a little bitty Queen's game about, what was it, explorers. You're playing a explorer trying to get into this
like tomb or
mausoleum.
Yeah,
a tomb to get artifacts and then get back out again. So it's a really interesting game.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it had snakes and the floor moved.
Yes, you could move the floor tiles, and that was how you got around, was moving the floor tiles around. So it was very interesting. Anyway, all right, so moving on a little bit here, what we kept. All right, so the game that stayed in our collection, no ifs, ands, or buts. As soon as we played it, we knew it was staying, and that was Ice.
Well, yeah, we backed it.
Ice, yeah, that was a recent Kickstarter. Took a long time to get here, but man, the production quality is fantastic. Now, this is one that it had a little bit of problems. Of course, most first-time designers, first-time publishers, brand new, very large game. You're gonna have some issues. Production was not one of their issues. I can tell you that much.
No.
But the game is long, and I think that was really the big thing. Is the game is long. It takes a while to set up. But they just did a second printing Kickstarter on it and addressed some of those issues. Now, we did back that. We talked about this last episode. We did back the update. So I'll be curious to see exactly how it changes the issues. But with Ice, you are essentially digging down through layers of ice, layers of tiles.
Which is really thematic because you are removing layers of the board and going down into the board.
Yes.
It is so cool.
Yes, I really like the way they did this. So, but you're removing these layers of tiles, i.e. the ice, to get down to various artifacts that you can use throughout the game for bonuses and for scoring. So that's the short and simple of it. All right, the game that left our collection. This was one of the little kids' games. This is called Igor the Brainwashing Game. This is one, it was kind of, it's a typical card game that is a memory game. There wasn't anything special about it.
Well, except for when
if you got the Igor card, then you could move things around, which made the whole memory thing a little more complicated.
Things,
Yeah, but we just decided that it wasn't worth staying. Yeah. Just again, we're trying to get that kids collection down, way down. So this just didn't make the cut.
Right.
All right, our surprise. Now, our surprise is a game called A La Carte. Now, this is one we did do on the 24. You played it with a couple people on the 24.
Yep.
Which
this last one.
No, not this last one. This one was actually on. Let me find it. Nope, sorry, it was on the 12.
Okay.
This was played on the 12 in the first section of the 12-hour live
that would
marathon
make
in August.
More sense because the first 24 was on Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend, and this was bought at Gen Con. So.
You're right. That does make more sense. But anyway, A La Carte is one we played for the first time at my friend's house in Virginia. Somebody I went to high school with. We played it with her and her friends, and this is one of her kids' games. This is literally belonged to her daughter. And she pulled it out because it was just a fun dexterity type game.
Yeah, she pulled that out. I'm looking, I was like, really?
Yes. But we laughed so hard at this game. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. Because you have the burner. You have a pan, which is literally a metal pan.
Yep. Little aluminum pan.
And then you got like salt shakers with the ingredients in them that you're trying to shake out. It's freaking insane.
It is, but it was so much fun, and we thought, okay, it's an older game. We figured for sure we were gonna play it, and we were done. And then we saw it in the flea market at Gen Con and snagged that sucker pretty quick. We've played it once since. It's one of those just memory things. It's a sentimental thing more than anything else, but it was still a lot of fun to play.
Yes, it was.
So we picked it up, and it'll stick around for a while. All right, and our disappointment. Our disappointment on this one was a game called Challengers. This was a Spiel des Jahres winner.
Yeah.
It was one of the Spiel des Jahres winners.
We played it on the 12-hour.
We did play it on the 12-hour. And to be honest, It's just a glorified game of war.
Yeah, well, it's a deck building
It's a deck building game of war.
Yes, basically, yeah, because whoever has the most cards or whatever it is at the end of that round wins that, and you would get a star or something like that, and then you would swap places and play somebody else.
Yeah, so the concept of this one is you've got
it's
anywhere
like
from 1 to 4 tournaments going on at one time. And you've got 4 boards laid out, so you can play up to 8 players. And there are round cards that tell you which board you're going to be on at any given time, depending on the round that the game is in. So you've literally got people getting up and moving after each hand of cards.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little chaotic, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in a tight area while we're on camera, and you didn't want to kick anything and knock it over in the middle of filming. It was the very last game we filmed, in fact, on the 12-hour. We've played it 2 or 3 times now. I really didn't care for it any of those times. Yeah, disappointing. We kept it in the travel collection because we moved it from our collection to the travel collection because it was a Spiel de Jahres winner. Mm-hmm. And that is probably the only reason.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us will ever pull it out to play again.
Probably
It was not what we were hoping for out of a Spiel de Jahres winner.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
So on to episode 37.
37. Let me pull my spreadsheet up. All right, on episode 37, again, we played 13 games on 36 too, and 13 games on 37. We played In a Pickle. This is just a weird party game.
Which I don't even remember now.
I don't remember what it's all about anymore. I blocked it out. We played In the Dark, In the Year of the Dragon, Indian Summer, IndyCar Unplugged, Inner Circle, Interplay, Iron Chef, the board game, La Isla, Isle of Cats Explore and Draw, It's a Wonderful Kingdom, and It's a Wonderful World. All right. Now, our ins and outs. The inn. Well, the game that stayed, even though Greg's not a big fan of it, it stayed anyway, is Isle of Cats.
Yeah, I know you love this game.
I love this game.
I'm okay. Well, basically because it's cats. But
yes. Well, it's polyomino, and it's cats.
Polyomino and it's cats.
And the expansion brought in kittens. So how could you go wrong? I mean, seriously.
By buying the game. I mean,
whatever.
The game is fine.
I like the polyomino aspect of this game.
Exactly. I think that's the main issue.
And that's the main issue you have. It's not the cats.
I'm not a big
it's the polyomino
person.
So the concept with this one is you are rescuing cats off of an island. You have 5 days to get as many cats off the island and onto your boat as possible using fish as bait and baskets to carry them. I think you brought up the fact they missed the mark. They should have just used cardboard boxes to capture them.
Yes, they didn't need baskets.
They wouldn't have needed the fish. Just use the boxes.
Just stick a box on the beach and you'd probably catch 20 of them.
Right. But anyway, so you are laying the cats, which are in all different types of polyomino shapes. There are 5 different colors of cats, different families of cats, and you're trying to group those families together on the boat for scoring purposes. But like any polyomino game, once you put one down, everything else has to touch it. It has to touch from where you started. Mm-hmm. So trying to get the right cats at the right time to fill in the holes is the biggest trick of the game.
And to cover the rats.
And to cover the rats, because there are rats on your boat, and the cats need to eat them. I mean, they've got to do their jobs. That's what you hire them for. Mm-hmm. All right, anyway, so that was the game that stayed. The game that left the collection. I picked this up at Goodwill because it was an Iron Chef game. And you and Justin absolutely adored Iron Chef, the TV show.
Yes.
So we thought, this will be fun. If nothing else, it's a novelty. It was kind of weird.
It was weird. It was not a good word for it either.
It's a set collection. But the problem is that there weren't that many pieces to each set. There were a lot of sets, but not that many pieces to each set.
Right.
And you're pulling them out of a giant deck, probably 2 inches thick. So trying to make your sets. And the sets were like, you need a French entree and a French dessert and a French. So it was different styles
Yeah, it was
of
like
food.
like any Iron Chef, there was a theme. And
There
you
was a
had to
theme.
do stuff with
Yes.
that theme.
So you had to not only match the ingredient theme, but you had to match the country theme.
Yes.
You got extra points if you matched the country. So if you were a French chef, you needed to find French dishes with the food theme.
Yes.
Meanwhile, you're going around the board 3 times, so you have 3 rounds. And at the end of every round, you're losing stuff or gaining stuff. It was...
Yeah. Now
I just felt like the whole game was very anticlimactic.
And this was not the this was the original Iron Chef.
Yes.
The Japanese version of the
Yes.
Iron Chef. So it was all the chefs from that one.
Right. It was not what we were hoping. And I didn't see it ever coming off the shelf. It was one of the bigger, longer boxes, like the old Monopoly boxes. Actually, it was bigger than an old Monopoly box. So yeah, this one left the collection. We played it, and that was it.
Yep.
All right, so the next one, the one that surprised us. Again, this sits in
Yes.
the travel collection, and we did hold on to it because it did really surprise us.
This was an old one.
This
Well,
is it's
1981.
19. Okay, so that's 40 years old.
I was still in high school.
It's still 40 years old. Anyway, this is a game called Inner Circle.
Don't do the math for them.
Anyway, this is a game called Inner Circle. This was a Hasbro game, or Parker Brother game, Milton Bradley. It was one of those big 3. The idea with this one is you have several layers to the board, and each layer has a series of holes in it. And you are moving your piece around. You've got a series of pieces. I think you start with like 4 or 5 pieces, if I remember correctly. And you're moving your pieces around, trying to get them into each of the holes that will leave you safe going into the next round. Because at the end of the round, you lift the top piece of the board off, and any of the pieces that didn't make it into one of the holes in that layer are removed from the game. And all that survive are the ones that made it into the holes of the layer, and now they're on the board below it and have to start again trying to get to the holes in that layer. And you keep doing this until all that's left is the center hole, and whoever gets there first wins the game. It is a really neat concept of a game.
And it's actually you. By the way, you get 9 pieces.
You get 9. Okay.
9 pieces.
All right. So you start with quite a few.
I liked how it was kind of like a octagon grid.
Yes.
And you had to move along the lines connecting it, and you just the puzzle of it was just to get it to where the holes are at. And to make it just right to get there and to stop.
I think there was like 4 layers to it before you got to the winner's circle.
I think you're right.
It was just such a neat
1, 2, 3,
abstract
4.
strategy
Yes,
game.
4 layers.
So this is one that sits in our travel collection, and I would not object to pulling this out and playing it again. It was a lot of fun. I loved the puzzle.
There you go. We can bring out an old game for the next 24.
Oh, bring out some of the older ones. Oh, that would be fun.
Bring out some old ones.
That would be fun.
A classic.
There you go. I love it.
Okay, so our disappointment.
Really,
if disappointment was as big as this one was.
So we really like the game It's a Wonderful World. I love the card play of it. I love the puzzle of trying to get all your stuff done in the right order in time before the last round. You only play 3 or 4. I think you play 4 rounds. So when they came out with a 2-player version of it on Kickstarter called It's a Wonderful Kingdom, we didn't even look. We just backed it.
Yeah, it was an insta-back.
It was an insta-back because we loved It's a Wonderful World that much.
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Kingdom, albeit has the same type of play. You're still building out your cards. You have 3 choices on each of the cards. Or 2 choices. You can sell them for the 1 piece of 1 cube, 1 color of cube, or you can play them down and you can build with them. You can plan to build them for the victory points they give you or the resources they give you at the end of each round. So it still has that base mechanism of play. However, It's a Wonderful World was a drafting mechanism where you took cards and you just, you started with 7 cards and then just went around in a circle till you discarded the final one. Done. It's a Wonderful Kingdom does that a little differently, which I was not in objection to. I was okay with the fact that how they changed that to specifically be a 2-player. though I think World plays fine at 2 players.
Yes, it does. It even solos.
Yes. It's a Wonderful Kingdom took it and added a very strong take that aspect to the game.
Yes.
And that's what we didn't care for. So, is it a good game? It might be. For us, no, it wasn't. I mean, it has a 7.2. It's not a horrible game.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't our kind of game.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it disappointed us.
Yeah, and we have played some Take That games here lately, and we
have.
have enjoyed it.
Yes.
Because it's all in good fun. I mean, like, we
But
just
this one-
played Oh No You Don't last night.
That was so much fun.
Which is crazy because we added the advanced rules of, what they call it? Basically fighting. But
Okay,
you
one
like
of the
poked me
fighting
in the
things was,
eye,
like,
and I
literally
gave you a wedgie. So
Yeah, it was that type of fighting.
not for real. But yeah, it was crazy. But this one, it just seemed like it added that Take That just to add that Take That.
Yeah.
And it was a mean Take That,
Yeah.
too, I thought.
It was. I
'Cause
mean,
you are
you
like-
lose points.
You're losing major points at
Yeah,
some of them.
but there's also a
and-
combat aspect to it.
Yes.
And that what's really got
Yes,
us.
and there was like, it was what, 4 different mods you could put in it to
Yeah.
change the
And
way the game
every
was
one
played.
of them was combative.
Yes, and it was like going, why did you just take a nice game which had some hate drafting in it,
It
which
had
was
a
the
hate
worst.
drafting aspect,
That
but
was
that
the
was
worst of the Take
yeah.
That in it, and then they just took that game, which was fantastic the way it was,
Yeah,
and make it really mean
for 2 players.
for 2 players. Yeah,
And again, I don't think it's a bad game. We did move it
No.
over to the travel collection. For people who like the Take That combative games, this might be a good one. It's a good,
Yes.
it's a good take on It's a Wonderful World if you want to Take That in combat.
yes,
We didn't, so therefore it disappointed us in the fact it was not as good in our opinion as the original. So
yep.
yeah, it is what it is.
On to what would be our deep dive, but we are
Yes.
not deep diving anything because
Yeah, we've kind
we
of
spent the last couple of weeks preparing for our 24-hour
yeah,
marathon.
we did.
So we're going to talk about games that we played at the marathon.
Yes. All right, so let me get my handy book out.
Yep, because that was a week ago now.
That was a week ago. Let's see, what games did we play? All right, and some of these we've already talked about, so we're probably just going to gloss over them and move on.
Yes.
And all of these can be seen in one of the 3 recordings from our Live 24. Please go back out and look at them.
Mm-hmm.
There are links in the descriptions on where you can go to donate. So
And I'll put links to the videos in the show notes.
okay, perfect. All right, so we opened up the Live 24 with a game of Neom. This is a city building game that uses a drafting mechanism to grab tiles and
Kind of the
into your
7
city.
Wonders drafting mechanism.
yeah, it uses basically, you start with 7 tiles, and by the end of the round, or 8 tiles, by the end of the round, you're going to have 7 tiles on your board, or you will have sold some for money, because you have to have money. The idea being that you are you're building tiles in order to manufacture certain goods that you can use to build different tiles, or you can provide that good for other people to build tiles on their board and thereby getting money for having sold them that good. Even though there's technically no goods, you just have a token indicating you can manufacture this good. So therefore people can buy it from you, can buy that ability from you. So very interesting city building game. We've had it for a long time, for a couple years now. Played it in Virginia in April with Jeff.
Speaking of Jeff, I don't know if he actually listens to the podcast or
I
not,
doubt
though,
it.
but I still want to thank him for that
Yes.
surprise entry
Oh
he did
my
for the
God, that was
opening up the 24.
hysterical. Anyway, but this was a good one. This was the first time I think any of the bad tiles actually got played rather than discarded. And Doug from Bless His
Cooperative
Heart,
Nerds.
Cooperative Nerds, we all wanted to strangle him because he set fire to our cities and sent a crime spree to each of them.
Doug does not pull punches when he
He
plays.
does not.
He always plays the game the way the game needs to be played. Him and Ben are
absolutely
both
does
like that.
not.
But it's fun though when he does it. When
Yeah.
people actually do it. Me and you, we do it just so we don't hate each other.
Right.
We usually
Well,
play
and
nice.
I find funny that he lost by a long shot, and he's the one who pulled both those punches. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, fine.
Yeah, you threw the one away. The crime one, was it?
And he pulled it back out again.
Yeah, he pulled it back out.
He
to play
made
it.
okay.
That's right.
So something on the 24 that we did. Typically, you cannot do that in this game. Once
True.
it's discarded, it's
That's
gone.
right. He made that rule.
However, we did something kind of fun where everybody had poker chips that they got for having money donated on their behalf into our team, Extra Life. Kind of hard to explain quickly, but that's the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
You could take some of those poker chips and do different things with them. That was kind of our shenanigan piece. So one of the things you could do is you could spend 5 poker chips and make a house rule.
Yes.
So Doug made a house rule that you could swap out the tile in your hand with one of the tiles in the discard pile, and that little bugger drafted a tile and then swapped it out for the tile I had just discarded because he knew that's what I had discarded. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He still lost. I didn't win, but he still lost.
Yep.
All right, so moving on. Second game we played was a game of nothing personal. Now, Greg got into this one with 4 other guys. It was Justin and
Ben,
Ellery, and my brother Joe.
And Joe, yes.
Yeah. So all friends, other than Joe, who's family.
Yes. Justin, been on the show.
Family. Ben and Ellery are both very good friends.
Yep. And Ben's been on the show.
And
Joe's been on the show.
Yeah.
Joe did a top 10 with me. I think it was just me. You were.
That was
not
right
feeling
after.
that
No,
good?
that was after COVID. You had a couple of our friends on to talk about RPGs.
That's right.
Because I had my COVID vaccine shot and was not feeling well.
That's right.
And so had Mark and Jess.
Yep.
All in the same weekend. It was great.
Yes. Well, not really, but yes. But anyway, so everybody but Ellery has been on the show.
Yes.
So.
Anyhow, Nothing Personal is a game that was designed in part by Tom Vassell from the Dice Tower. It is very much a take-that gangster game where you're basically trying to take control of gangsters. You are taking hits out on gangsters that other people control, trying to send them to jail, trying to just assassinate them, period. I was in the other room and was cackling at some of the things I was hearing coming off of here.
Well, you were
watching it. It was so funny. Well, I was watching it in the other room, but even if I wasn't, I could still hear you guys from the other room.
Yeah.
It's not like our house. I mean, we've got a decent-sized house, don't get me wrong, but it's not that big. We could hear you in the kitchen.
Which is 2 rooms away.
Yes. Anyway, they were laughing pretty hard at some points, and it was a very interesting game. So, and again, all of this you can go back and watch on the 24. So, very interesting.
We had Ben for one was playing,
Yes.
and Ben is all about
Chaos.
total chaos.
He likes chaos.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Ellery will play a game the way the game needs to be played.
And he does, yes.
Joe is all about playing the game the way it needs to be
The way
played.
it's
So
intended to be played,
he
yeah.
pulls no punches when he plays.
Yep.
And of course Justin is the same way because
no
his
punches.
wife doesn't pull punches when he plays with her.
Nope.
So
Nope.
I was the only one that's kind of like I pull punches, but in that game, no, it was all out
Every
war.
man for himself.
Yep, it was every man
fun.
for himself.
It was fun to watch.
It was a blast.
So, all right. After that, while you guys were playing that, I got in a quick game of a game called Abduction.
I seen that. That
yes.
was one I was thinking I was wanting to play, but
Abduction.
I didn't get to play it.
It was okay. So the idea with this one is you had a board with 10 slots on it that held 10 ducks of various colors. And the ducks were coming out of this little alien spaceship. I don't know what the connection there is, but whatever. Well, Abduction, the name, duh. Anyway, the ducks all flow in one direction. So as you remove ducks from your board, everything flows back into a pattern. You can't just move them around willy-nilly. And then you get 3 cards that you spend. Those are your actions each turn. You have 3 cards you can use as actions. And those cards tell you what you can do, whether you can rotate ducks around. You pick 4 that are squared together and you rotate them. And because the board is 5 on top, 5 on bottom with the arrow that just makes them all move in one direction. Anyway, So it could tell you can swap two. It could tell you that you can remove all the blue ducks and replace them. And of course, before you remove all the blue ducks and everything files into line, and then you put all the new ones at the end. So the idea is, though, that you're trying to get your ducks and the colors of your ducks lined up to match goal cards that are sitting in the middle of the table that everybody's trying to match. And you have 3 goal cards sitting there that could want 4 blue ducks in a square, or you could want 2 of one color here and 2 of one color here and 2 of one color here and all different color. So you're matching all these different goal cards.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to use your actions to move your ducks around or to remove them so that things file back into place so you can do that. It was kind of interesting. It actually reminded me a little bit, and I mentioned this to Tony when we were playing, it reminded me a little bit of Bizarre in how you're trying to move things around to get what you need to satisfy the goal cards. So
okay.
I think you would really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, maybe if it's at the retreat, I'll play it there.
I think it was actually a lot of fun. I was very impressed. We actually played with the expansion, the mini expansion that came with it that gave glitter ducks. Those
Who
are
put
wild.
that out? Do you know?
I do not know. I don't know.
Because let's say if it's an AEG game or I doubt if it's a Rio game, but if it's an AEG game, it might be in their room and we could go up there and play it then too. But it's a new. It's
a new one, just 2023.
Okay.
It was put out. Yeah, neither of those. Evan and Josh's Very Special Games Company.
Okay. Well, maybe Tom will have it in his.
I would not be opposed to
library.
picking this one up. I think you would enjoy it enough. I would not be opposed to picking this one up if we got the chance.
Okay.
So we'll see. Anyway.
We'll see.
Next we played a game of Apiary, which we have done a playthrough of. Bees in Space.
Yep. I was not allowed to play it this time.
No, you were not, because I wanted a chance to win it.
But you didn't take me up on my offer of me teaching the game so you would have a chance to win, because we don't like it when the teacher wins the game.
I still didn't win. Jeff beat me by 3 points.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said you should have taken me up, and then it wouldn't have been there.
Whatever.
But yeah,
anyway,
she still didn't win this game. So she really, really stinks at this game. She loves the game, but she stinks at it.
That's all we're going to say on that one, because we have talked about it quite extensively in the past.
It's a fabulous game.
Now, while we were playing this, you guys got in a game of So Clover.
Yes. We played Slow Clover. Yeah, we were just out in the other room playing So Clover.
Just because this game lasted about 2 hours.
So that was me and Ellery and
Joe
and Justin.
Yeah. Because I had Jeff and Tony and Kat with me.
Yeah, and Ellery was trying to grasp it. He understood it after a while. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. But I was getting such horrible words. If you've never played
the basis of the game.
If you never played So Clover, you have a plastic board that is the shape of a clover. You have 4 sides, and on those sides, each sits a square donut with words on all 4 sides of it that you have to turn and trying to make it one word for that area, and then the other word beside it is going to be part of the next word around the clover, and you've got to make it all match up and make words. And then you take them out, add another donut to it, basically, and put it in the middle. And then everybody else has to try and guess how you got that word to go and place it the way they think you do. And you get 2 chances at it. But it's an insane game.
It's cooperative, so everybody gets to talk and work together. You don't want to fool
and there's
them.
no true winner to the game. It's you try and beat your last score.
Yes.
But I was getting such horrible, horrible words, and I was reading the words wrong.
No.
Like, I thought I seen desert. But it was dessert.
Oh, no.
And I put dessert, which I thought was desert, under King Tut.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Extra wrinkle to the game.
Yeah. So, but it was still a blast. Everybody loved playing it. So
That's good. That's good. Okay, so after that, we were starting to get kind of late by this point. 8 of you came in here, or 6 of you, I guess 6 of you, broke into 2 teams called the Old People and the Jays and played a game of monikers.
Oh, jeez.
And I think they named themselves. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, because I was thinking I had made what the teams were going to be, and then Justin switched us again.
oh, okay.
Because I guess you had to be across from each other.
Yeah, you had to be every other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had one side of the table versus the other side of the table.
Oh no, it got to be opposite every other person.
So I said, okay, well then it's like the old people versus whoever. And
Well, and it was the Jays fits. It was Justin, Joe, and Jeff.
yeah.
So there you go.
But I
That's
have
funny.
never played this game. Justin got his cousins, our nieces and nephews, to play this at Christmas a few years back.
Yeah.
And I was like when he said something about charades, I was like going, oh, I don't like charades. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I will be a true sport and play this game. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
as
guys
much
were
as you
having a
hate
good
games
time
like
with
this,
it.
you would have fun with this, I
Yeah.
think. Because
probably
it's the
would.
same cards every round.
Yes. So you already know what's coming.
So you know what's kind of coming, and you're going off of clues from the other.
Yeah.
What was given, and the first one you could say as many words as you wanted.
You could literally
to
describe the card.
Describe the card, without saying what the word was. And then the second round you could only say one word. So you would take a word that got the card guessed the first time and see if anybody remembered.
Yeah.
And then the last you had to act it out, but during the game, half of us was already acting it out as we were trying to describe the card. So, and then one of them, I had said something about it, and all they did for the charade part of it was just point at me, and Justin knew exactly what they were talking about. So, yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. I did not expect to have as much fun with it.
It looked like a lot of
but
fun when we were
was
watching
hilarious.
it in the other room. So, all right. So the next one played was a game called Hue New. Hue, as in the tone of a color. Hue New.
This is like insane suicide for the brain.
It really is. And it's, I mean, you risked getting punctured with a fingernail. You still got marks.
I still have about a 1/4-inch scratch across the top of my hand from that.
All right, so the way this one plays, there was 5 of us playing.
Mm-hmm.
The way this one plays is whoever got the last card flips over a card or removes a card to reveal the card below it.
It removes the card you're going to get.
Right, removes the card you're going to get to reveal the card below it. And what you're looking for, now mind you, there's 10 pawns all the way around this stack of circular cards.
Mm-hmm.
On the cards are 10 different names of colors. Black, white, purple, blue, whatever. Actually, black's not on there. White is. Purple, blue, pink, orange, red, yellow,
brown.
all of those. They're all listed on this card.
Inside and out. There's like 2 circles.
Yes, there's 2 full circles of colors, names. However, the twist is the colors are not always written in their color. Yellow is not yellow. Red is not red. Red might be written in the color pink, and blue is written in the color green. But at least one, usually 2, of the color names are written in their correct color, and you have to grab the pawn of that color in order to get that card.
Be the first one to grab the
first person
pawn correctly.
Correctly, because if you don't, you lose a card.
Yes.
And there are several cards in the deck that all of the colors are actually correct, and then you grab the black one.
Yep.
To
And if
indicate
you
all of them are
and
correct.
if you like see, oh, green is green, and you grab the green and everything is right,
Yep, then you
lose
a
a
card.
point.
It was hysterical. We actually had a really good time with this one. It's just a little card game. It's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that we've picked up at Goodwill, and it sits in the travel collection, but it was just so much fun to play. It was perfect for this. So, yeah, fun game. After that, I sat in on a game of Mountain Goats with Kat and Joe and Jeff. And this is an all-play game, one of the small box all-play games that you have 6 different mountain goats, and you're trying to climb the mountains, numbered, 5 through 10? Yeah, 5 through 10. Yeah. And you're rolling a set of 4 dice to make numbers, and you can use as many of the dice as you want. You can move up as many mountains as you want. If you roll 4 5s, you can move up the 5 mountain 4 times if you want to. Each mountain, of course, the higher the number, the shorter the mountain. But each time you get to the top of the mountain, you get to pull off one of the points chips. And so long as you stay on the top of the mountain, You get to keep collecting chips every time you roll that number again.
As long as there was chips left.
As long as there was chips left. And that continued until somebody came along and kicked you off the top of the mountain, in which case you had to go all the way back to the base and start again. And they started collecting those chips.
And this spurred 2 house rules.
It did. We had quite a few poker chips thrown into the bin.
Yeah, the first one was due to a dice being
got
rolled off the table.
Oh my gosh! It rolled
and under the rolling supply chest.
Yes, we had to take apart the room.
Joe
to get the dice
made that
back.
rule of play.
Jeff did.
Play it where it lies.
Yep, play it where because it was a 6 and we made him re-roll it.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, from now on we're playing it where it lies.
Okay.
So that 6 would have counted.
And then I actually came in and made a rule to
gosh.
where you could roll all 4 dice, but you can only use 3 of them.
That was a major kink in the game, let me tell you. So it was a fun game though. I really enjoyed this one. It looked fantastic from video.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I actually made a house rule. I know in Nothing Personal, we were using chips left. I almost used all my chips in that alone to re-roll stuff because you could take out people, but if you rolled the knife, you died and not the other person you were trying to take out. So that was constantly being re-rolled. And then when you take out the other person, no, you re-roll that dice. No, you re-roll that dice. I'm not dying. You re-roll that dice. But anyway, back to the other game.
Okay, so all right, so that was Mountain Goats. After that, we got in. You came in and joined us, and us and Kat and Joe sat down and protected the castle. Siege of Rundar. Cooperative tower siege. Basic castle siege game, tower defense game.
Castle defense.
Castle defense. Castle defense, tower defense. Cooperative game where you have a hand of 12 cards. Each 2 rounds, you are taking 2 of the cards out of your hand secretly and setting them aside. They are not in the next 2 rounds, and then you are drawing 5 cards off the top of your remaining 10, and those are your actions for the turn. There are 2 troll cards everybody starts out with, and you cannot get rid of them. No. And those troll cards, or those orc cards, whatever they are, the bad cards.
They're the orcs.
Dictate that you have to draw an orc card. And you flip over an orc card, and you do what it says. So every hand, you have the potential, every 2 hands, you have the potential of turning over 2 orc cards. So, and orcs basically come at you from all 4 sides. It might bring out a trebuchet or a catapult.
Or it may move the orcs that are already there up onto the castle wall or into the castle.
Yes. It was just a fun game.
It's blessed.
We've learned that with this one, it actually plays easier at 3 or 4 players because everybody can specialize on something that they do. And we very quickly decided this is what we needed to do. And the actions we were having to take kind of dictated what we were doing.
Well, I think
Joe became our resource person, and Kat became our miner. She was doing all the digging. And then you and I were just battling, protecting the walls.
And I think when we first played this was at the retreat, the Dice Tower retreat with Jeff, and Mike DeLisio taught it.
Yes, and he suggested right off the bat.
He suggested that everybody specialize in something.
Yes.
Something different.
Yeah.
And we did that, and it made it a lot easier. Not everybody trying to get resources, or everybody trying to fight everything, or everybody trying to dig.
You cannot multi-focus on this one. You have to.
Now, if you were like me and you, like where we were defending the castle from everybody, I mean, if we had the chance to pick up resources on the way to go defend someplace else, we would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if we were in the area to dig and we had a dig on our card, or dig symbol on our card, we would dig as we were going through.
Yeah.
But we were focused on taking things out.
We were more focused on the damage, So it was a lot of fun, and I think they both really enjoyed it too. So that was fun. After that, several of our friends, we both took a break, and several of our friends got in a game of Foundations of Rome.
I didn't take a break. I was in there.
No,
I didn't play.
You taught it.
I taught it.
Yeah, you taught it. You did not play in it, though.
This one...
Mostly because I don't think this table will hold 5 players.
No, this one was the one that I taught the game, and I had 2 espressos like an hour or 2 before this. But this is when it kicked in. And I talked a lot during this game because I sat at the end, and my main reason for sitting at the end was, one, to teach the game, and then I would flip over the cards or restock the the market.
You were doing all the
and
upkeep.
then do the end of the round scoring and stuff like that, and reminding people of rules. I kept forgetting to restock the market. Doug kept restocking the market. But yeah, this one, they had a lot of fun with us.
Yeah.
Doug played it last year at the 24. He played it again this year.
Game. Yeah, Mary specifically requested. She was only able to join us for a few games this year because of prior commitments and babysitter issues.
Catherine got to play, and Justin.
Yes. Yeah, Doug, Mary, Kat, and
did Doug win this again?
Justin won this one.
Justin won this one.
Yeah, Justin won that one.
So yeah, and they wanted to. Justin goes, "No, we can swap with each other, right? Trade out with each other." I was like, "Well, that's actually an expansion that I don't like because it also has the stealing involved in it."
I think with a multiplayer game, 4 to 5 player game, you almost need that expansion.
But I told him later, I was like, going, you can make the house rule, even though we're not playing with expansion. You can make a house rule where you can trade.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh yeah, we could."
Nobody
None of them
ever
ever did because after a while they realized how vital holding that spot from that person is, even though you really could have used one of their spots. They understood.
Yeah. All right. After that, I sat down with Kat, Tony, and Jessica. Jessica, our former co-host, got to join us for this one game. Well, actually, she joined us for 2 games, but we got to sit down and play Flamecraft.
Yes.
So I think Jessica had played it once. They own it because, it's dragons. But the other 2 had never played it, even though another friend of ours, Ellery's wife, Amy, had been hounding them to try it for quite some time. Well, now Amy, you get to play it with them now because they are enthralled with this game. Kat and Tony are. So this is all basically baby dragons walking, going around town to different shops and collecting resources and doing various actions. Just a cute little game.
Are they baby dragons?
I don't
Or
know
are they
if
just
baby.
dragons?
They're just dragons.
Cartoonish
I don't know.
Dragons.
They look like baby dragons. The drawings make them look like baby dragons.
The drawings, the artwork makes it look like it's a kid's game, but it's far from being a kid's game.
Yeah, it's a cute game. I love the artwork on this one. But anyway, so we did get that in. After that, we tried an experiment. Recently, we picked up the game of Rolling Realms. And we decided we were going to do our first roll and write.
Oh, I was like going, what?
Air.
Huh?
So we were going to do our first roll and write on air. Greg sat in here in the room with 4 other people with some blown up versions of the cards that I had made specifically for the 24 so that you could see them on camera. And it actually looked really good on screen.
Yeah.
So he sat in here and taught the game while I sat out in the dining room with 4 other people and kind of explained anything they didn't quite pick up from watching the rules on TV.
Yeah.
And then we played along. And we invited our audience to play along as well.
Yeah, if they had. And we only used the base set.
We used the base set, so no expansions, no promo cards.
Yeah.
And we had a good time with it. The scores were actually remarkably close. I think, what was it? Where'd it go? Yeah, Doug out in the other room. One of our close friends, Doug Homan, he won with 46.2. Justin came in with 46.1. That was the 2 closest winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we even had large dice.
Yeah.
They were probably twice the size of the dice they gave us.
Oh, easy.
And it's if you ever seen playing through our collection, the dice are actually on the shelf in the back, right behind us in that video.
They're one of our cat's favorite play toys. They come in and steal them
they will
constantly.
literally come in and take them off the shelf and go throw them around on the floor.
I'm surprised they have not eaten them yet.
One that kept the noise down from me rolling it with the mics because we used conference mics that were on the table, and I could just imagine the racket that would have made with us rolling those out there.
Yes.
But
but you could
they
see
were
them.
a lot
they were
larger.
big. You could actually see them on the TV.
Yeah, because they were nice. One was blue, one was red, and you could see the white pips. The other ones were like a green marble, so it kind of made it hard to see on video.
Yes, it actually worked out well. All right, after that, you sat down with Justin, Doug, and Jeff to play Sunrise. This got into a very intense
Skyrise.
The sun was coming up at this point.
Yes.
Actually, the sun was far up by this point because we were getting close to the end. But actually, this was middle of the day now that I think about it. But anyway, this turned into a very intense. You guys were hyper focused.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
We were trying to keep other people from getting to this part and that part.
Yeah, it got very intense. But very interesting game. We've talked about it in the past. Matter of fact, we just talked about it, I think, last episode. So we'll leave it at that.
We turned it into a push your luck kind of thing. It's like, how far can we push the other one to make them use their higher ones?
Oh, Lordy. Okay. After that, my brother sat down. Okay, so last year, we were both taking a break, and my brother GM'd a game of The Goonies Never Say Die with Doug and Sarah, longtime friends, Doug Bauer from MeeOple of Nerds, and Kat. He GM'd for the four of them playing the various Goonies. So they all reprised their roles and went into episode 2 of The Goonies Never Say Die. While they were doing that, and while they were playing that game on air, you, me, Justin, and Jeff sat down and played Last Defense.
Yes.
Which is just a crazy 20-minute, love the app. I love the broadcaster on the app. She's so peppy for things
all
invading
about
the city.
Saving the world from the aliens.
Well, it's not even the world. It's just our town.
Well, that's right. It's
we have
our
to
town.
save our town. We have 20 minutes to save our town from all these various aliens that have suddenly invaded. It's just a fun little cooperative game that takes 20 minutes.
We bought it at Target because like, hey, let's try this, see what this is all about.
And we've had fun every time we've played it.
And other people bought it because of our recommendation.
Yeah, love it. Anyway, all right, so they finished up with the Goonies, and now we were nearing the last hour of our horrendously long day. And we broke out a game of wits and wagers with everybody who was left standing. Well, most everybody. There were a few people that had to leave suddenly or didn't play. But we had 7 of us in here. Justin was kind of spearheading it, but still playing. He was just reading the questions. And then we were joined in the chat by David from Australia, which I thought was hysterical and a lot of fun. So we played Wits and Wagers, which this is the first time any of us had ever played this. So we had to read through the rules real quick.
Yeah.
Basically, you read a question, and it's all number-based. Years or numbers or percentages, it's all number-based answers. There is no analytic answers. So, say the question is, one of the questions we had, how many years were between 2 of the Beach Boys hits? And it ended up being like 30 years. I'm like, what? No way. Or 23 or something like that. It was a huge amount of years.
I think I guessed 24.
And it was 23.
And it was 23.
Yes. So you had to try to guess.
And I thought 23.
You had to try to guess without going over. And once everybody had guessed, you put all your boards in a row, and then everybody has voting chips that you can go out and vote for who's right. So this game is not all about being right. It's all about knowing who's right. Okay, I may not know the answer, so I'm just going to give a wild guess. I think I literally guessed 3 because I had no clue, and I should have known that was wrong. Because otherwise they wouldn't have asked that kind of question if it was only 3. It was obviously a long time. But when I saw everybody else was guessing somewhere in the 20s, I'm like, well, I'm certainly not right, so I'm going to guess down there. I still didn't get it because I think I guessed yours, and of course I went over. But so the tagline is, again, it's not about being right. It's about knowing who else is right. So, and then you get money based on that. And we swapped out the cheap poker chips for our good clay poker chips and used those. And we had a good time with it, though. It was a lot of fun. And that's how we closed out our 24.
Yep. I really thought it was cool though how David joined in because he started answering it. Then Doug just gave him a board and
we had one extra board left because Kat had to leave.
There was a 10-second delay.
Yes.
So we would go ahead and write our answers in and go ahead and put them out and we were waiting for David to respond.
Yeah.
And then Doug would write down his answer and it would be in the game, but David said he'd be all in on his all the time. It's like,
so
and you can't really put both your tokens on your same one.
No, but it worked for the fact that we didn't have to try and second guess what he was doing.
Right. So he was all in on his all the time. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was cool that we were playing with somebody over in Australia who watches our videos. Thank you, David, for doing that.
Yes, it was fun.
It was really cool.
It was a great way to cap the game.
Yes.
Cap the evening at that point it was 7 o'clock in the evening. It was a great way to cap off the 24 with everybody who was still here.
Yep.
And get everybody on screen at once. So it was fun. But yeah, that was everything we played during the 24, both on and off air. Great day. We didn't make our goal, but we had a lot of fun. And that's really what matters.
We beat our goal from last year,
We did. We made half our goal, which was, hey, we had a very... I don't want to say, what is the word I'm looking for? We had a very lofty goal. It's not the word I was looking for, but that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, because I kind of added up what we had earned throughout the entire year last year, and then basically just over doubled it.
Yeah.
I doubled it plus.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So we're going to have to figure out a better way to advertise it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what we're doing wrong, but we had a lot of people watching, so that's something.
Yes.
We just didn't get the donations in, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
But hey, we will take every bit of donations, and if you go to that stream or the videos for it, the links are still live. You can still donate to it.
Absolutely. So. And we even made it so that you can donate to a specific player. Now, mind you, we don't get the money. All this money goes straight to Extra Life and then straight to whatever hospital that player has chosen as their beneficiary.
Yes, I think
so.
We set up one that's just for the Meeple Society.
And that's where I was going with this.
And that
at
one
this
is
point,
just to the Children's Miracle Network, and they will figure out what hospital.
Where it needs to
like
go.
Mine
where
was
it's
to
most
Riley
needed.
Hospital.
So was mine. And then, I kind of almost want to take like the Meeple Society and make it St. Jude's. Or something like that. One of the ones that services the whole country. I think it's a whole
different.
Is it a whole different network?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so even so, we have a specific page for the Meeple Society. We also have one for Co-op of Nerds. Mm-hmm. And you hear us talk about Jeff from Tabletop Toolbox. We made one for him as well.
I think he made one.
Well, he made it, but still, it's out there because he was working with us.
And we have to go through that to see which YouTube channel got the most donations.
I think it was ours. Well, no, because he donated to his, and I think he
had $100 on his.
I can find out really quick. Let's see. I am going to our donation page. Actually, I need to go to the roster page, don't I?
I think we should make it by subscribers or something. That you can't donate to your own page.
Right? No, I went to the wrong place. Anyway,
we'll look it up and we'll let you know who won the bragging rights, and apparently Justin's going to get a trophy for it.
Why is Justin going to get it? Oh,
he's going to get a trophy for the person so they can hold it for the year.
Yeah, Tabletop Toolbox had 100, which Jeff donated. We had 85. And Co-op of Nerds, I don't think anybody donated specifically to Co-op of Nerds. It was all to Doug.
Now, I can't, because Justin came up with that rule.
Yeah.
And was he allowing mine and yours
to add into
Meeple Society, and Doug and Mary's to add into Co-op of Nerds, and then if Jeff had his own and Tabletop, we'll have to define that a little bit more for next year.
Absolutely. Anyway, that was all the fun.
So this is going to do it for episode 67. What has recently dropped to the YouTube channel? Well, episode 56 of Playing Through Our Collection has dropped. This is a complete go back to cover recent pickups that started with letters we already covered. Also, if you missed it, what we were just talking about, the 24-hour board game and video game marathon MeeOple Live is now up again. There's 3 videos for it and are time labeled, so you can see like from 8 p.m. to midnight and midnight to 4 a.m. and 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. or however it was we did it.
Yeah, and each one of them is been time stamped as well with the
so you can get the games
and who was in it.
Well, there you go. So you can go watch them in order, so go watch them now. We will be recording episode 58 of Playing Through Our Collection at the beginning of the O's soon. Hopefully by the end of the week. I don't know. Also, maybe, who knows, we will have a top 10 worker placement coming soon. But in the meantime, please go to iTunes or Spotify and give us a 5-star rating and review. This helps other people find the podcast. Also, if you want to keep up with us and see what we're doing, you can follow us on social media. Just follow the link in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.